Welcome back to another amazing session of our Sofa Sessions. I'm Jarrell Clay with Hip Hop Caucus, and I am so excited to be one of the members here at COP28 in Dubai representing Hip Hop Caucus. I am sitting next to an amazing, illustrious human being by the name of Big Wind Carpenter. Big Wind, introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Hello, relatives. Good to be here. My name is Big Wind Carpenter. I use they, them pronouns. Northern Arapaho Tribe, member of Water Protector.
We are catching up with Big Wind today because they are no stranger to COP. This is Big Wind's fourth COP, and as we were talking a little bit, we were able to see parallels between COPs over the years. Your first one was in 2019, and what it means for COP28 in Dubai to be the largest. And from your perspective, how has that experience been?
I think it's pretty wild to know that there's 106,000. Last year there was 60,000 people, so the COP has nearly doubled since last year.
Wow. So in it doubling, what does that mean for how we're able to enact a lot of either policy or negotiations that center Indigenous rights?
You know, at the same time, when you have double the people, you also have essentially double the fossil fuel lobbyists here. And so last year there was 600, and now there is over 2,000. And so you can see that number is extremely high this year, considerably. And I think that it's parallel to essentially the COP28 president being a fossil fuel CEO. He essentially runs ADNOC, which is the Abu Dhabi Oil Corporation. The United States comes here and does a lot of window dressing on the world stage. And so a lot of these leaders that come from the United States come here to tell the world that essentially we are the leader, or climate leader. And so even when we look about last year where they were touting the IRA as the largest fossil, or the largest
and they still are.
Yeah, and
they're still touted.
Right, and
even
that it's the largest climate bill in the history of the world, all while not mentioning that those funds are tied to oil and gas lease sales on public lands. Now 95% of public lands are open for oil and gas lease sales. So we can't get distracted by them funding parts of the solution, all while doubling down on what's causing the climate crisis.
Absolutely. You mentioned the community you grew up in. I would love to know more about who is Big Wind and who is your community?
So I'm a Northern Arapaho Tribal member, and for me, growing up, like with my culture, with my language, with having access to our ceremonies and stuff, it has really shaped my worldview. And so for me, there's a lot of things that I think dominant society, the culture is inherently extractive. It's very capitalistic dominant. And the laws that are essentially colonial, even the science that people follow, people like to think that it's fact when it's actually based off of Christian values, even when we talk about conservation. And so for me, as an Indigenous person, as an Arapaho person, I learned very young about reciprocity, and that's a natural law, something that the earth. And so when you take something, you give something back. And as a dominant society, we've lost that value. I think that at some point in time, as humans, we all had these and we all followed the rhythm of the natural law of order. But I think at some part along the way, people started to lead astray, separate themselves from the environment, separate themselves from a lot of these things that we need to survive.
How has your experience in direct action and being arrested in direct action influence your approach to achieving environmental justice? Like, what do you see as effective?
I was fortunate enough, early in my life to be able to witness direct action. And the first time that I seen it in play, I realized something, that it's something about taking your power back and not relying in people with platinum titles to try to figure these things out. We give our power away oftentimes in these situations. And Even with, a lot of the projects that I've done that we've utilized direct action, we tried every single thing. We went to the Public Utility Commission hearings. We went to the Regulatory Commission hearings. We did the petitions. We talked to our leaders. None of that worked. What worked was people chaining themselves to machines, crawling into pipes. And regardless if it lasted a day, a week, a month, years, we were the only ones that were able to actually stop, delay these situations from happening. And that's even against when these corporations have the police to protect them and unlimited resources. So time and time again, when I'm called to the front lines to act on a certain situation, I don't regret any of the risks that I've taken. And I think it's because I've not only have I been affected by this, but coming from a reservation where everything has been taken from us, our land, our water, all of these things. So coming from nothing, I have nothing to lose. And when people come from status, from privilege, they are less to take risks like I do. I'm willing to risk my freedom. I'm willing to risk my livelihood. And a lot of people, I think in similar situations than mine, are willing to take those risks as well. And it's sad that the people who are the most affected are the ones that are causing the most change. But when we talk about even the history of civil rights, when we talk about the United States, like, we didn't end chattel slavery by having a conversation. Like, it took work, it took direct action. People needed to do things to essentially bring this problem to light, to make sure that there was a moral obligation that we stop things like that. And so we're in the same situation here, where we're not going to get the results that we need by towing the line, even here at this conference.
Mm-hmm. Big Wind, it is so amazing being in community with you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for making the time and the space to chat with us, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Totally, thank you.